Hello, good evening, and welcome to Monkeys with Fire. How is everybody tonight? Hope you're all well. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Let's say hello to those in the chat. Good evening, Roger. Hello, Mystical. Hello, Lornor. Welcome, one and all. So then, tonight, what are we taking a look at? We are going to take a look at the latest release from Free League Publishing, Tales from the Loop. They grow up so fast. A series of scenarios to play in an alternate 1980s. Very excited to share this with you guys tonight. And also during tonight's show, we're going to create some characters for a future game of Tales from the Loop. So I hope that some of you will get involved with that. There is a link available on the Discord channel and on the YouTube page. So do go and download a character sheet for the second part of the show. And we'll go through the steps of creating our 80s kid character. Now then, of course, we always have a bit of a caveat with these role-playing game shows that we do. I am no role-playing game expert. I played D&D, well, back in the 80s. So I'm coming back to the role-play game scene, seeing how much it has changed, looking at all the games that are now available. So if you do have any questions, do jot them down in the chat or leave a comment, and we'll do our best to answer them. Okay, Mystical, are you all set and ready to join? Is that a preemptive yes? Was that yes already pre-typed and ready? You knew where it was going, yeah? All right. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm excited. I was ready.
You were ready. Okay, well what we're going to do then is we're going to go and take a look through the this expansion pack. Well, let's just read what it says on the back here, just to give us a little bit of an understanding. So here we go. Everything changed on that fateful day. Looking back, I know that whatever we did changed our lives forever. The sky ruptured and something strange came through. It was a great adventure that showed us how little we knew about the universe. It was scary and yet magical. I wish we could do it again. In these 4 adventures that together form a campaign spanning the seasons of a year, the kids will be tested to the limits of their abilities. When an ordinary camping trip turns into something else, they will discover that friends come in all sizes and forms, and even from different worlds. Together they will go on an adventure they will never forget.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a little bit of setting the scene. Let's jump to the table and take a look at the book. Okay, so here we go. As I say, this has just recently been released by Free League, so should be in the stores by now if you are intending to sort of GM a game for Tales from the Loop. Of course, if you are potentially going to be a player, then you might not want to watch a huge amount. We will kind of stop before we spoil anything, but hopefully the back text there has given us a little bit of a teaser as to what the kids might be dealing with. We're going to concentrate mostly on the setting, because Tales from the Loop is typically set either in Sweden or in the United States, but this one, they grow up so fast, gives us a new location, And opening it up so you can see the map, this is set within the United Kingdom in the Norfolk Broads. So for anybody who lives in Norfolk and lived there during the 80s, this is actually very, very cool. And one of the reasons I wanted to take a look at this is because I actually went on holiday on the Norfolk Broads during the 80s. So this is very, very thematic for me, which is great. Obviously sailing around all the many little canals and then getting out into near Great Yarmouth was a lot of fun to do as a kid. But I'm sure I did not have the adventure that the kids in the game will face. As we've come to expect from Free League, it's all really, really nicely laid out. We're not going to focus in too much. We're just flicking through here. Very, very clean layout, easy to read. If you have already got Tales from the Loop and some of the other expansions, then you'll know what to expect. And of course, there is a PDF version, which is what we will jump and take a look at now. So let me make sure I've got all this set up. Hopefully I have. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, do you guys remember the general setting of Tales from the Loop? Do you remember, Mr.
I do.
Yeah?
I do.
Go on, give what do you think? What's the... No, I'm putting you on the spot here.
I was not prepared.
You're not prepared?
Not prepared.
Well, I mean, ultimately, it is the role-playing in the 80s that never was, isn't it? It was based on a series of paintings done by... Oh, I'm going to get the name wrong. Hang on, let's see if we can try and attempt it.
See? This is why I don't try to do this, and I just enjoy him trying.
Simon Stallenhag. Paintings of Swedish 1980s suburbia, populated by fantastic machines and strange beasts. So, Simon created these series of paintings set in the 1980s that included a futuristic element that, of course, never happened. And it's a strange blend. The role-playing game, of course, brings in that element of the popular 80s movies. I mean, straight away, you think of the Goonies, you think of E.T., kids on bikes, having adventures with strange occurrences. And the game is kind of the marriage of those. So because of the nature of the scientific element within the sort of the lore, essentially anything can happen. And I think it was maybe a couple of years ago, Amazon did a TV series, which is well worth watching. The series is a sequence of little stories that are all sort of linked together and into a greater story, but take elements from Simon's paintings. And if you're familiar with the original paintings, you can see how they've recreated those scenes in the TV show. It's so well done. Highly recommended. And of course, with the popularity of shows like Stranger Things, then you get a sort of a general idea of how you could potentially play these games on the types of things you might encounter, because there's nothing off the table, is there? You know,
No.
your imagination and certainly the games masters could take you pretty much anywhere. So let's take a look through and see what we've got. I'm going to try and find where my mouse is. Wrong screen. There we go. Let's give it a go. All right. So as I say, this is set in the UK. And that for me is really, really cool. As much as I say, the core game, typically play in Sweden, or you can play, I think it's Boulder City in the US, which is near the Hoover Dam and Area 51, that sort of area?
I'm gonna say yes, because I believe it is, but I'm not. That's the opposite side for me.
Opposite side, yeah. I think it is, because I think we were looking at the map, weren't we? And we were saying, oh, wouldn't this be cool if the loop was near Area 51, where it's kind of allegedly supposed to be. And it's like, oh my gosh, it is. It's so close. So yes, it's nicely placed. The loop, of course, is what's it called? Is it the Large Hadron Collider in CERN? It's a massive sort of facility, isn't it? It's underground, and that's what the loop is. But these are various loops that have been created in locations around the world. It's a place of fringe scientific experiments. So this is why the world in the 80s now has anti-gravity, and it has robotics. It has all weird and wonderful things, which of course then, as the game creators, they can pretty much get their characters to experience fantastical things in the game world. And of course, a lot of this is depicted in the paintings, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, as it says here, so in They Grow Up So Fast, you can experience 4 seasons with the kids. And it is a case of they find something and they've got to look after it. And I think that's where the link of They Grow Up So Fast, where the title comes from. But I like how in Tales of the Loop they always give suggestions as far as how to sort of set the mood a little bit for the game. And of course, this has got to bring in some of that British culture here. So we have Enid Blyton's The Secret series. We have The Railway Children. Then we have Pete's Dragon. Free Willy, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Gremlins, Stranger Things, and then I love Hot Fuzz, which is such a curveball right at the very end. But I guess as a modern movie of what is quintessentially a little British village, I suppose that kind of captures it really, really well.
That last one was kind of, when I was looking, I was like, it's kind of left field, isn't it? just a little bit.
It's not quite. I wouldn't necessarily have put that in that list.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of, because they mentioned the Railway Children, and I'm trying to think of, and I'm sure it was a book. Is it Swallows and Amazons? And I think that is of the same kind of era, because even the Railway Children is set, is that early 20th century? I think it is. And I think Swallows and Amazons is possibly... Yeah, I think Swallows and Amazons is possibly the same period, or maybe it's in the 50s, somewhere around there. So it's not correct as far as dating, but as far as... I mean, Swallows and Amazons basically is a load of kids playing in boats. So you couldn't get it much closer, really. So that's possibly one to have a little bit of an idea, and then sort of transpose it to the 80s, I guess. It's an old film.
Not me just like sitting here Googling these things, because I had no idea.
There we go. I'm going off memory. What does Google say? Does Google say Swallows and Amazons? Does it?
I mean, I'm looking it up. It's not giving me a whole lot.
If I remember, it was 2 lads and 2 girls, and basically they are playing as kind of pirates on little boats during the summer holiday.
Yeah, they're given permission to camp on their own on an island in the middle of a vast lake in the Lake District.
Ah, there we go. So different side of the country, but same sort of idea. I guess it works.
Now I want to watch this.
I remember watching it as a kid, and it was awesome because, of course, this was kids having adventures, which, of course, this is what the game's all about, isn't it?
Yep. I'm making a list of things to watch now.
So it does give you some information here about the Norfolk Broads because, of course, for anybody who is not familiar with the area, even people who are in the UK, you do need some background here. Talks up about the Broads being created in the 14th century by peat miners. They're a set of rivers and lakes which boats can navigate. And I assume it's crisscrossed by ditches and channels of water away from field into nearby rivers and seas. So there's lots of little villages and towns all over the Broads. And then goes into Great Yarmouth. Now, of course, well, the region is known for its links to tourism, boating, and the fishing industry. So, and then it does a little bit of info on living in Norfolk. So again, it's just northeast of London. And so we go. This is now interesting. This is where we get the little bit of what is real mixed now with the sort of the fantasy. So with the installation of the loop, jobs have seen a small spike, and local inhabitants have benefited from oil and gas industry. That's brought a sense of financial security to the region. Although that all changes as the year progresses. So then we got the UK in the 80s. This particular mystery is being set in 1988. So there's quite a few things here. So in the 80s, we're famous in UK politics for being the era of Thatcherism. Britain had its first female Prime Minister, and her nickname of being the Iron Lady was well earned. During this time period, we had the marriage of Prince Charles and Lady Diana. We had the Falklands War, and we had the Chernobyl disaster in 1986. This is what I do like about this game, is that sort of look back and seeing, events that happened, and maybe there is some sort of link to those. Certainly, you could imagine playing a game and it would be something that would be on TV as your characters walk past. Some sort of news report or some television program, wouldn't it? Something on the radio, maybe.
I think radio would be a very apt one.
I guess it would, wouldn't it? I wonder, is that something that... I wonder if that's something you can get as a resource. Old sort of news articles on radio, which could just be played. So maybe that'd be interesting to have that sort of asset in the background. The 80s, of course, is a time of Walkmans, isn't it? So, but you could have a portable radio. I love this image because, it just looks like a semi-detached house in the UK during the 80s. I think the car's a little bit generic, but the house is actually that feels very British to me. So it's talking about what's within Great Yarmouth. Got the library and schools. I like reading about the schools because it makes me think of a television program I used to watch called Grange Hill, which was a London-based school. But I can see that if I had any reference to schools back in the 80s, that's where I would be drawing my inspiration from. And then we got shopping district and the entertainment. Got the pleasure beach, and the pier. See, that's quite. I don't know because I know that. Obviously, I'm going to sound really, really dumb now, which wouldn't be a first, would it? But the US has piers, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because I know Santa Monica's got a pier. It's very famous. Appears in lots of shows. So all of your other coastal towns, they all have piers, don't they?
I mean, yeah, maybe just not like famous ones or anything like that. But yeah, if you're on a coastal town, you're going to have piers.
Yeah. Because of course, I suppose I always think because we see it so much in TV and movies, don't we? We see Santa Monica Pier, but you also then see Venice Beach all the time, so it makes it feel it's just lots and lots of beach. But no, there is a pier there. Whereas in the UK, it's not a huge amount of great beach and lots of piers. We have the opposite. We got the leisure centre. Oh, see, I guess so. Sporting halls or areas for sports. Is that something that in the US? Definitely, it's a culture of, when you were a kid, you would hang out at the leisure centre. I suppose it's shopping malls, isn't it, for kids in the US or something?
Yeah, and I mean, it would have been like in the 80s, and that it would have been like arcades.
Yes,
right?
That's it. Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, we see. There you go. That's the difference.
I am not a child of the 80s, so I'm trying to think back.
Think back in your history books. But that's the difference. Is that over in America you would have lots and lots of arcades. We only really had arcades in seaside, sort of touristy locations. It wasn't a normal thing. As a kid, I had to travel to a seaside town to go to the arcades. There was not anything there in my hometown. So that's be interesting. So yes, you could actually have arcades in Great Yarmouth. That would be something. But then the leisure centre would be a communal location for the kids as well. And it goes into to more detail, talking about other local towns, farms, the harbour. And then it starts to give information about the actual loop that is under the Broads. And this is the MAF, the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries and Food. That is their remit to build and run the Norfolk Loop as part of the government's push to be on par with other nations in the 1970s and 80s. I like how they weave these elements together. Talks about the main facilities, the reactor, the labs, gives a little bit of background about the people who manage the loop. We're going to skip that little bit of creature bit, but I think that the keen ones amongst us might have already sort of sussed out some elements here. But then we have the map of the Norfolk Broads loop. So we can see the central section where the cooling towers are, and that'll be the entrance to the facility. Of course, the loop is underground. And we can see all of the areas around. Many, as it says, many farms and little villages, little towns.
Every time I look at this map, I get distracted by the river down in the bottom left because it looks like it has like a mouth coming off of it.
The river down in the bottom left.
Yeah. The little lake. When you're looking at it a certain way, it looks like it's like a little mouth opening.
You mean the lake that is underneath? Is it Limpenhoe?
Yeah.
Yes. It's like a sock puppet hand monster.
I can't. It's been a long morning.
It has, hasn't it? Okay, we're gonna skip past these next little bits because we don't want to focus too much on those. But there we go.
Secrets, guys. Secrets.
Secrets.
Oh.
Okay. So, creating kids. Several options for each of the kids' archetypes in the Tales from the Loop rulebook to fit them into these mysteries. So here are some ideas to inspire us. So, this approach assumes that you're playing in the year 1988, although any year in the 80s could be used with a few tweaks. This is the bits that I really like. So we've got some music that was being played in the UK in the year 1988. So during spring, we could have I Should Be So Lucky by Kylie Minogue that was in the charts for 5 weeks. In summertime, with a little help from My Friends by Wet Wet Wet, who were in the charts for 4 weeks. Autumn Time, The Only Way Is Up by Yaz and the Plastic Population, 5 weeks at the top of the charts. And Winter, Mistletoe and Wine by Cliff Richard for 4 weeks. This is what I've always liked about Tales from the Loop, is bringing in these musical elements. I think that's can be a lot of fun. You can just have a bit of an 80s playlist going, can't you, as you play? And you've always got that backing sort of music to keep you in the right sort of mind and era. We got major news stories. So here we go. £1 notes stopped being circulated by the Bank of England in March. So that's where we went from notes to coins. We got in July, the Piper Alpha oil rig explodes. We got the terrible tragedy of the Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie. So it's quite a lot of major stories, and most of them are not particularly good ones, are they? TV shows, 80s TV shows. I don't think you won't recognize any of these shows because, as you've said, you weren't necessarily watching them. But I don't know if any of these got over to the US.
I wasn't even born in the 80s, so.
But they might have replayed them.
I didn't even know the music.
Did you not?
No.
I hope you're writing this all down. This is like important research for your 80s game. But
oh man, I'm sitting here like, oh, I'm so glad I can watch this stream again to take notes.
No, you're sitting there going, oh, if only we're doing the Star Trek game. I know a little bit more about that. Notes for anybody watching this. Mystical's knowledge of Star Trek is only slightly greater than her knowledge of the 80s.
Yup.
But you see, I've got to absolutely credit the writer for this because it is spot on. I remember, the only one I don't remember out of these TV shows is Penny Crayon. Oh, hang on a second. Penny Crayon, Stop It and Tidy Up, and the Shoe People. I don't recall those, but Count Duckula, Danger Mouse, DuckTales, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, because we weren't allowed to use the word ninja. Ninja was a bad word. So they had to rename it.
DuckTales, yes. I know DuckTales.
Yes. Well, I should hope so. The Trapdoor. Yes. Great.
I know DuckTales, and I know Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
The two American TV shows that were very popular. Yeah.
So, my husband knows Danger Mouse. I didn't. Yeah, I don't. Nope.
Nope. I mean, gosh, you could go back and you probably could watch Danger Mouse, but of course, I think they redid it. So there will be a new version. You want to go back and watch the original ones, which were amazing. Of that time,
they redid
of course.
DuckTales too.
Yes, yeah, I could well imagine. Yeah.
It's not bad.
Is it watchable?
Yeah. I was surprised.
Didn't DuckTales, didn't they have a sort of Indiana Jones theme sometimes with the nephews?
I feel like that might have been Rescue Rangers.
Oh yes, yeah. But and also I've just remembered. Again, it's not on this list, but and you may or may not know of this. Muppet Babies.
Oh God, no. I can't stand the Muppets.
You can't stand the Muppets. Okay.
They scare me so much.
How? Why? Why do they scare you?
I don't like like puppety things.
Okay.
So like I never really watched Dark Crystal. I had issues with Labyrinth. They're so creepy.
Oh my goodness, no. Which of course both of those are valid for this time period, aren't they? Because they're both 80s movies. Labyrinth
What's funny
and
though
Dark
is I
Crystal.
really love Labyrinth. I just have to cover my eyes when the birds come into view in that, because they creep me out.
Well, that's understandable. They're supposed to creep you out a little bit. That's the idea, isn't it?
They take their heads off when you're singing.
Oh, you mean yes, in Labyrinth, yes, and they start throwing them to one another, don't they? Yes. yes. You got is it the fire? They're in the fire pits, aren't they, or the fire swamps?
Yeah. I can't. Nope. Just
They're
hard
awesome.
no.
No, Muppet Babies was a cartoon version of the Muppets, but what was always really good about it is that they lent massively into the popular movies at the time. So Kermit was acting as Indiana Jones and did his Star Wars sort of Luke Skywalker type things, and that, So it was cool to be able to see those type of things in your sort of weekly Saturday morning cartoon, which was great. We got a nice little piece of artwork here. This very modern barge going down one of the sort of canals there on the Broads. That's the thing. You see, the Norfolk Broads, very, very flat lands. But of course, this particular campaign can be played in any of the other settings. So we do have Boulder City, and it gives you some suggestions on how you might incorporate it. And then, of course, the Swedish loop, which I will get this wrong, Malaren Islands. So there you go. I'm obviously, not getting the accent correct. And that, basically, that's as far as we're going to go. Because to go anything further actually takes us into the adventure itself. As I say, there are 4 adventures over the course of a year, each one representing a season, starting off with a camping trip. And I think this will be a lot of fun, because hopefully you might have had a little bit of a clue as to what type of adventure the kids might be facing. And I can well imagine how that might play out just over a extended period of time. So I'm looking forward to playing it in the future. But having gone through and looked at all of the elements to do with the UK, From as somebody who lived through the 80s, it's absolutely spot on. Can't fault it. Really good. Really, really good. And brought a massive smile to my face. But anybody else who wasn't born during the 80s, it's like, how on earth did they live back then?
I mean, I missed the 80s by a year.
I suppose, you know, you need to be at least 10 to appreciate the 80s. Yeah. So you need to be, I suppose, a 70s child to then enjoy the 80s for what it had. But you didn't at the time, of course. Right. Shall we go through some steps on creating some characters?
I think we should.
Yeah? All right. Let me see then if I can make this work. Okay, this is going to be really interesting.
I'm just a baby.
Here we go. Okay, so what we'll do then is I'm going to move this out of the way. We're going to work our way through the character creation in the core game, and we'll just take it step by step, and let's see what we get. We did actually have a look, didn't we, a while ago about the types of kids that we might want to create. I'm just going to trying to find the section. Yeah, I think it's later on, isn't it? Aha, here we go. There we go. All right. So then, let's just do a quick summary. So we're going to choose our type. We're then going to decide our age from 10 to 15. We're going to distribute a number of points equal to our age in the 4 attributes, 1 to 5 points in each. We'll determine our number of luck points, which is equal to 15 minus our age. We'll distribute 10 points in skills. You may take up to level 3 in the 3 key skills of your type. For other skills, a starting skill level of 1 is the maximum. We're going to pick an iconic item, pick a problem, pick a drive, pick a pride, define your relationships to the other kids and to other NPCs, select an anchor, name our kid, write a short description, and then choose your favourite song. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fine for you, isn't it?
It's gonna be great. It's great. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. So we're gonna have to choose what type of types. So choose which type your kid is. There should be preferably only be 1 kid of each type in the group. Okay, now before we get started, to anybody in chat, if you want to follow along, make sure you have downloaded the character sheet that you can see just on the left hand side, just there, so that you can fill it out as we go. There is a link on the YouTube, there is a link in the channel's Discord. Exclamation Discord if you're not already a member, because maybe you might be watching this video after the fact, so you can join on in that way. All right, so we're going to go through the types, and I think that's gives us a starting sort of place, doesn't it? And what we'll do is we'll give a quick overview. And if you are interested in a particular type, we'll look in a little bit more detail. So we have the bookworm. When you read, you travel thousands of miles to foreign countries. You speak with mad poets and discuss the meaning of life with philosophers who died hundreds of years ago. Okay, so somebody who's very much into their books, lost in fiction and fact. We got the computer geek. This is somebody that is obviously on the cutting edge. They're just as computers are starting to appear in homes and in schools, and you are very, very keen on this new innovation. But of course, it is of a time before the internet. That's something. War games. How did war games happen? It's a time before the internet. I suppose we did have dial-up, didn't we? So you could dial up. Yeah?
Oh, as soon as you said it, I could hear the sound.
Everybody, yes. But there'll be whole generations now who have no idea what that sound is.
Oh, I have seen, like, videos of people trying to explain it to their generation. Be like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, if you were born before 1998, you are older than Google.
Yes.
So, and I sit there and go, oh god.
Okay, so we have the hick, which is so. Classmates smile at you because of your tan, your pronunciation, and your jokes. Sounds like me. But what does it matter when you get to go out in the fields and the woods every day? So, yes, somebody who's it's a bit. I suppose it's a little bit maybe the Tom Sawyer-ish. Is it Tom Sawyer or is it Huckleberry Finn? Huckleberry Finn character, isn't it? Maybe.
Tom Sawyer didn't want. Like, he was more lazy. He tried to like get everyone else to do his things for him.
But Huckleberry Finn was the adventurer, wasn't he? He was the one who was living out in the woods and the fields and whatnot. So yeah, I think I'd say Huckleberry. Even though I'm trying to think of a British equivalent. Yeah, can't quite.
But also, I wouldn't refer to him as a hick. It would be like the farm boy.
yes, farm boy. Yes, yeah. So the jock. I mean, I guess these 10 names are very American, aren't they, really? So this is just the star player, isn't it? It's the athletic kid, the one who enjoys football and being physical, whereas everybody else doesn't. The popular kid, so it's like the socialite, isn't it? It's the person who goes to all the discos and all the other kids try and want to sort of hang around with, whether they're interested or not. The rocker, so somebody who's a bit more on the fringe with their music, not necessarily in pop music, but they're into other things, unique music, the music that other kids have never heard of. Troublemaker. Yeah. Don't need much description on that one, do we, really? Everybody knows. Everybody knows. The weirdo. Feels a little bit unfair. I guess maybe it is just the person who doesn't quite fit in with everybody else. Unfortunately, there is somebody that people have a tendency to make fun of, isn't there? So
yeah.
Okay, so out of that selection, what's instantly caught your attention?
I'm torn between two of them because I can go bookworm if we do that. It's more fantasy than like anything based, because that's definitely me, or the weirdo.
Well, it's totally up to you. Do you want me to give you a little bit more info here? I mean, ultimately, you see, this is the unique thing about Tales from the Loop, is it gives you just suggestions, but it's up to you how you actually use them. So it gives you suggestions for your items and your problems and your drive. So all the things that we just mentioned before. But your key skills, that's possibly what you want to consider right from the start, is calculate, investigate, and comprehend. So those are the most important parts on the bookworm. For the weirdo...
Or sneak, investigate, and empathize for the weirdo.
There you go. There you go. So
I think I'm going to do weirdo.
You're going to do weirdo? Okay. Yep. I will do... See, I definitely wasn't the popular kid at school, so I can't go for that. That would seem a bit... And I definitely wasn't the jock.
See, and I was a mix of the bookworm, the jock, and the weirdo.
Okay.
Because I did sports, but I also did not hang out with anybody else who did sports.
Wow, okay. No, so you weren't really a team player then?
I mean it more like I didn't hang out, like, because you get those, like, cliques, right? I didn't hang out with the ones
right.
who were, like, I had my group of friends, and they weren't the athletic type.
Right. See, I can't be the rocker because back then my knowledge of music was not particularly great. Wow, I definitely wasn't the troublemaker. You know what? Did you say you were going to be the weirdo?
Yeah.
I'm feeling that's possibly where I would end up. Because not the rocker, not the popular kid, not the jock, not the hick. So it would be bookworm or computer geek, I suppose. I will go. I suppose I was reasonably studious. Yeah, I'm going to go with bookworm. Now I'm going to have to put this so that, like so that it holds that there. This is going to be interesting. I'm having to get a keyboard. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, so we do that. All right, so we've got the bookworm done, and you're filling in your sheet, aren't you? Anybody in chat, if you are going along, you want me to give you a little bit more info about a certain character type, let me know. So let's just skip along here. So age. So age in the game, your character is between 10 to 15 years. Choose your age freely. Your age affects your attribute scores and the amount of luck points you have, but also how you picture the kid in your mind and how you play the character. So your birthday, you can determine what birthday you want to be. Now, what is important about your age is that if you are older, you have less luck because younger kids just have more luck, don't they? They just get out of trouble easier. So in this game, younger kids
into trouble more easily.
Yeah, that's true, yes. So in the game, younger kids are luckier than older ones. You start the game with a number of luck points equal to 15 minus your age. All right. So if you wanted to have more luck, you want to be younger. But the flip side to it, and then we'll just find this here, because it is related to your age as well. So starting scores, I think it was the attributes, isn't it? So starting scores, distribute points equal to your age in the 4 attributes. So your starting scores can have no higher. So if you are older, you're going to have more points to be able to distribute amongst your attributes. So if being older, you've got more experience, you've got more knowledge. If you are younger, you're going to have more luck, which hopefully will help mitigate any issues you might face. So that's the first sort of major decision. What are you going to do? So you're between 10 and 15. How old are you going to be?
I'm going to be 10.
You're going to be 10?
Yes.
Okay. If you're going to be 10, I'll put myself then as 15. So we've got somebody who's a bit older. So yes, this is. I'm trying to look across, and I can't see it. I have to move. Okay, I think that's worked. So, I'll work out birthday later on because that's not really that important here and now. So, attributes. Your kid is defined by 4 attributes that tell you what you are good at and how you can cope with trouble. The attributes are body, tech, heart, and mind. The attributes score range from 1 to 5 and correspond to the number of dice that you roll when you try to overcome trouble. And I think it is a case of that a 6 is a success, isn't it? And so long as you get successes from the number of dice that you roll,
so, yeah.
then you have been successful. So that's really quite easy. So the larger the dice pool you have, the more of the chance you are going to succeed at whatever the test is. So just to clarify, body is the ability to jump high, run fast, and fight. Tech is the ability to understand machines, robots, and program technological things. Heart is the ability to make friends, to lie, to know the right people, and to create a good atmosphere. And mind is the ability to find weak points, understand people and situations and creatures, and solve riddles. So then, distribute points equal to your age in the 4 attributes. Your starting score can be no higher than 5 in any attribute. You need to take at least 1 in each attribute. So you have 10 points to distribute, and I'll have 15. Okay, and these are, so we put these numbers in to body, tech, heart, and mind. Bearing in mind the type of character that you've gone for. So just to remind you, the weirdo,
Sneak,
your skills,
and empathize.
That's it. And for me, it's going to be calculate, investigate, and comprehend, because you can see how on the character sheet that we have the skills, and there are a number of skills that link up to these 4 main attributes. So you might want to veer yours into the areas where you're going to have some pluses, or bolster up those areas that might be a little bit weaker. Yeah? Let's just put that there. I'm going to move this across and see what we'll do. So what are you thinking as far as your character? How are you going to use your points? You've got 10 of them across 4 attributes.
Well, I'm definitely in the ones that I have. So sneak, investigate, and empathize. Those are going to be her strongest ones because you got to play to it. She's not going to have any sort of charm whatsoever because again, that plays into being the weirdo. I think putting some into like tech a little bit to make sure she's got just a little bit there, that helps, especially if it's like tinkering with things.
Yes, well that's the thing. I'm automatically putting 4 points into tech and 4 into mind, given the sort of the bookworm nature. I'm thinking that body might not be the highest priority here, but heart, I mean, we can make the character quite sociable, can't we? So 1 to 5 to make sure distribute points equal to your age in the 4 attributes. So when you turn a year older, you gain another attribute point to spend. but no attribute score can be ever above 5. So 5 is the maximum dice that you might have on any attribute. And when you turn 16, you are no longer a kid for the purposes of this game. So this character is literally going to last 1 year. So thinking in those terms, in the They Grow Up So Fast, literally that character would just play through that one campaign, and by the following year, that would be it. You would have to move on to another character. Granted, of course,
I've got some years in me.
you've got a few years, you've got a few games in you, yes, for sure. So what have you decided to do then?
So I think I'm going with. I think tech is going to have 1, heart is going to have 1, mind will have 4, and body will have 4. Seems to make the most sense for me. Especially being like my age as well.
Yes, no, I agree. So I think I've just got 2 more to do. There we go. I think I've done my attributes there. So I've gone for 2 in body, 5 in tech, and then 4 in heart and 4 in mind. So yes, I'm figuring, I'm spending far too much time in the library, and definitely missing athletics class.
Tracks.
Yeah, I want to stay in the library and read books. That's where I want to be. Okay, so our luck points, something that you can use to overcome trouble. Give you a chance to re-roll dice. So in the game, younger kids are luckier than older. So when you start the game, number of luck points is equal to 15 minus your age. Your luck points are replenished at the beginning of every session. So I said I was going to be 15, didn't I? So I get 0 luck points, whereas you get 5. I have 0 luck whatsoever, which sounds about right. Okay, so skills. Each attribute has 3 connected skills. These are areas where the kid are well trained. The level of skill varies between 0 and 5 and corresponds to how many dice you can add to the dice roll when you try to overcome trouble, in addition to dice from your attribute. At the start of the game, you distribute 10 points among your skills. You may take up to level 3 in the 3 key skills. So remember, now there's little check boxes on these, isn't there? So you can do a checkbox on sneak, investigate, and empathize. Put my teeth in. I can do calculate, investigate, and comprehend. And so those particular skills can go up to 3, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, whereas everything else is 1. Let me just go and check those. I've forgotten them already. So calculate, investigate, and comprehend. I'm definitely realizing that I probably need to change the setup here. Trying something different, not quite working. Okay, so... So 10 points. I suppose it makes sense to, well, oh gosh, you could use everything quite quickly, couldn't you, given the number of skills you've got?
So this is very similar to how you make a Vassin character.
Yes.
So what I did with that and what I've done with this is start your points off with your ones that you tick off, and then see what you're left with and distribute from there.
There we go. I think that's good enough. Because yes, these are extra dice, aren't they, that you can add to those particular skill rolls.
Yes.
So okay, giving those a bit of a boost. Okay. So we then have items. Some items can be useful to overcome trouble. Items that give you a bonus to the dice roll from a 1 to 3 extra dice. To get a bonus from an item, it must be obvious on how it is of use to you. A skateboard gives a bonus to move when you're fleeing from a bully in the street, but not when you're climbing a tree. So we need to select some items. Now it says here, this is where we can go back. And if I remember rightly, so most objects that you encounter during the mysteries are props, everyday things that are described to give atmosphere but don't affect dice rolls. So you can actually have an item that you could potentially use that would enhance your character. But it's got to be enhancing one of your skills. So what would the weirdo, this is not your iconic item, but this is something that they are just carrying or they have with them. When I was doing this last time, I thought that obviously a bike would be one of the best items you could have.
Yeah.
Just for getting around, and of course that would give you a bonus to your movement. But of course, it then becomes an issue for other things, as it says, like with the skateboard idea there. So what sort of items do you think the weirdo might have? What sort of items do we think the bookworm will have? Because a book on its own...
Well, the bookworm's got to have a book all the time. That's like the definition of a bookworm. You're carrying around a book all the time.
But it's not. But a book itself is not going to be a special item, is it? It's going to be a prop. But what special item could the bookworm have? I mean, I was thinking like maybe a magnifying glass.
But hold on, your book could be a special item because it could, like, if you're trying to hide from somebody or something, you can cover your face, especially if you know the person. Or you've seen them before, you put your face in the book.
I'm not sure whether it would work in that context. Let's just go again. It says here, so to get a bonus from an item, it must be obvious on how it is of use to them. So, and this is items that give a bonus to the dice roll from 1 to 3 extra dice to a roll. So yeah, Games Master should disallow unreasonable attempts to use items. Most objects you encounter are props. So this is it's something that the character has hold of, that actually does a genuine sort of benefit that is a reasonable thing for them to have.
I mean, encyclopedia is one of your items.
Right. Well, there you go. You see, an encyclopedia, for you to be able to get a gaming bonus of knowledge, right? Yes, an encyclopedia would be great, but it's only specific to that one book you've got, right? It's not so you can got like the internet's worth of encyclopedia to be able to study that one thing. So it's not that practical, is it really?
I like the idea of the drawing pad for the weirdo.
Drawing pad.
Because I can think of so many different ways that you could use that.
Oh, okay. But this is for your iconic item, isn't it? So it works just like other items, but it also says something about who you are. This item gives you 2 bonus dice in a situation where it can be used to help you overcome trouble. So the iconic item will not disappear or break whatever happens unless you want it to. If it gets stolen or lost, you'll find it before the end of the mystery.
As for just like a random item to have on me, a teddy bear.
Teddy bear. You want a teddy? Well, you can have a so you can put your teddy bear down in your ordinary, because that's kind of just a prop, isn't it? It's just something to you're carrying around with you. And then maybe, yes.
I'm a 10-year-old child.
Exactly,
I'm
yes.
carrying a teddy bear.
So you can then put your iconic item as the one that gives you the 2 bonus dice. So,
yep.
So hopefully you can justify using your drawing pad in whatever test you'll be up against. In fact, actually, there you go. It did say magnifying glass, didn't it, for the bookworm? I'm trying to think of something else that's it's along those lines, because a magnifying glass could be used to look at small details, which might be helpful. What else could a calculator could be handy?
I think a calculator would be more for like the computer geek. That would make more sense.
True. Yeah.
But I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibility for a bookworm to have like scraps of paper on them, especially because they probably use it as a bookmark.
Yeah.
But like random scraps of paper so that you can like write stuff down on in that as well.
Yeah. How about well, okay, then if we're saying that the bookworm is very intelligent, then having some sort of, I mean, I'm going very similar to you now, isn't it? Some sort of notepad to basically work things out they can do.
And it's very popular to have, some sort of highlighter or marker or pen, pencil, whatever, when you are reading, because a lot of people annotate books as well.
Yes.
So.
Okay, so let's put down what we have. Maybe it's as simple as that. Maybe it's some sort of stationary kit. Let's keep it general. That being the case, we can manipulate it a little bit, can't we?
Hey, if you can justify it, you're 9 times out of 10 the GM will be like, yeah, go for it, run.
Okay, so there we go. We got a pencil case. We've got pencils and pens, rulers. Maybe there's a compass and a protractor in there. We got all the things we would need as a school kid. All right, let's continue. Let's see what else we got. Problem. So all kids have a problem. You may have kept yours to yourself or told the other kids. The problem is part of everyday life, something that worries you. During the game, the Games Master will use the problem to put you in trouble. If you solve the problem, then you must pick a new one before the next mystery. So you should choose a problem that you want to explore during the mystery. It's a signal from you to the Games Master, put my kid in this kind of trouble. So it gives you something to overcome, doesn't it? So your development of your character. So it gives us some suggestions. Okay. Granted, like I say, these are suggestions, so of course you can always come up with your own. So you get bullied at school. Your brother is doing weird things in his room. And
No.
your father is a communist. What do I have? Nobody tells me how my dad died. My sister is really sick, and that weird man is following me.
Oh, that's scary.
These are both very scary, aren't they? I'm not quite sure if there's a better, which is the better ones.
I went with I get bullied at school.
Are you going to go with that one? I'm going to.
I can relate to it. Oh.
Okay, well, here we go. I'm going to go with what would make my bookworm feel uncomfortable? I am going to say that this character is basically. I'm going to phrase this as best as I can. This character is growing up a lot quicker than any of his friends.
Oh.
Okay, and that being the case, he gets bullied for it. Let's leave it at that. As in, he's got hairy legs already. There you go.
I mean, I would think so at 15.
Yes. Oh, yeah, he's a bit too old now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, maybe he hasn't then. There you go. That will do the opposite. Oh, actually, yeah, it doesn't quite work out at 15, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What can he have then? I don't like the idea of his dad being dead.
Well, I mean, you could be creeped out by somewhat random man following you.
Yeah. I mean,
Could make it worse, and it's a woman.
That's true. That's true. Hello, Martin. Thanks for joining us. You're watching the stream from the start. You've gone back and you're okay. You'll catch up at some point at this moment. That's cool. But past Martin will meet future Martin at some point. Oh gosh, that's really got me. Yeah, I thought I had an idea, and now I need to change it because it doesn't quite work out, does it?
No, not quite at that age.
Yes. He's got serious developmental issues. It's because I created one of these characters before, but I think I must have changed the age, haven't I? So it didn't kind of work out. Okay, so let's have. Oh, I'm gonna be cliched. Mum's got a drinking problem. There you go.
Oh.
There we go. Let's do that instead. We're basically going to say that the parents are always working, always away. So we'll blame both of them. We'll make it fair. All right. So we got our problem. All right. Drive. Your drive is the reason why you expose yourself to dangerous and difficult situations to solve mysteries with your friends. It helps you to understand your kid, and it makes it easy to start a new mystery. Whatever happens, the kids will want to figure it out. So, what type of drive examples? So, choose one or make up your own. I want to find the answers to the big questions in life, and I need something to brag about for the bookworm. Whereas the weirdo...
I did drawn to anything strange, and I added different as well. Different and strange.
Strange and different, okay. I want something to brag about. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this kid wants to brag about something. I mean, I'm going to say they're just very inquisitive. Inquisitive about everything around them. I mean, obviously they're spending so much time in the library learning and reading.
Now we have something in common. We're both curious about things.
Yeah,
That's
curious
right.
about the world. There we go. We'll go with that.
I'm the one that goes, let's poke it with a stick, and you're the one, don't do that.
All right, we've got that. Let's continue. So, pride. So every kid has a pride, something that makes you feel strong, important, and valuable. The pride may be well known to the group or a secret. So, pride. I'm the smartest kid in school, or nothing scares me for the bookworm. Whereas, the weirdo...
My mom says I'm beautiful.
Okay. Well, then there you go. Be prideful about that.
Well, just imagine like a 10-year-old kid. Like, that's absolutely something they'd be like, huh, my mom says I'm pretty.
That's it. I'm not going to say, okay, not going to say the bookworm is the smartest kid in school, but in their year, I'm going to say that because that seems a bit more realistic, I suppose. Top of the year, so out of the 80-odd kids in the various classes for that year, they are in the top 10. Let's say that. Yeah, I think that probably is a bit more reasonable. Because, of course, they would be, as a 15-year-old, they're coming to near the end of their school sort of career, for just a basic high school potential to go on to...
You'd be in, like, well, maybe. You'd be in the middle of it, really.
Not in the UK, not in the 80s. I think you would be 16 is the age you would leave school at that time, but you had the option to be able to go into higher education, where you could go to college for 2 years up until you're 18, and then at 18 you could then go to university if you did well enough in your exams, and that'd be another 3 years.
What?
Oh yeah, it was very different back in the 80s. So yes, so as a 16-year-old in the 80s, you could be going out to work at that point. So this kid is 15 now. He is 15 now, isn't he? So at the end of this year, he would do his final exams, and then potentially he could go to work. Granted, of course, I think our bookworm would probably stay on and go to college, because it would stay within the educational system for at least another 5 years.
My mind is just like...
Is it blown?
It's just gone.
Yeah?
Yeah, that... Wow.
Because in the US, do you carry on all the way up to 18 as sort of normal education?
Usually when you graduate high school, you're 17, possibly 18, depending on when you were born.
Yeah.
And then you go into either college or university.
Yeah, I think things have certainly changed. But I mean, again, this is maybe a little bit of the sort of flavour for the time. Is that in the 80s, you would have to have had relatively wealthy parents to go to university. So that being the case, a lot of kids probably went straight into work because you're earning money. You have the freedom for the fact of you've got money, and it was a small percentage that would go off into university. Right now, of course, it's the opposite. Most people do seem to go on to university because we understand how important it is to have a fuller, greater education. What?
No, I just did. I have thoughts that I'll keep to myself about it.
That's okay. All right. Okay. Relationships. I think this is the next one. So you should define your relationships to the other kids in the group. All right. So basically, how do we know one another? Let's just work on just the two of us here. So what's our relationship? Why would
that's a good
this
question.
bookworm be this 15-year-old bookworm be hanging around with this 10-year-old weirdo?
Sounds so mean.
I'm just going by the character archetypes here.
So mean. I mean, the thing that makes the most sense is probably like a cousin or something, right? Like that's
Yeah.
At that age gap, it's usually like or it's like the neighbor kid next door.
Yes. It's well, there you go. So maybe you're the from the family next door. So we're aware of one another. We've not got that sort of family link, but we definitely know one another. We've possibly had to reluctantly
You babysit me.
Oh gosh, maybe so. Or maybe we've been invited over to a party, where it's the parents and we're just having to hang out. And of course, I suppose my kid would just be bored, and you'd be quite happy playing with your toys, wouldn't you? I suppose. What do you think? Do we want next door neighbors?
I enjoy the fact that I can be the annoying next door neighbor kid that just like yells through the fence at you.
Yes, that's it. Because yes, maybe I've sat out just wanting to read peace and quiet, and you're like, look at my dolls! Look at my dolls!
Look at this cool bug I found. It's very, hey, Mr. Wilson.
Okay, so we're going to be neighbours. There we go. I was thinking, or maybe you could be the kid's sister of the next door neighbour, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got I don't know. Do you have maybe an older brother?
Sure, I'll go with that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that the older brother is in it. But maybe that's where I know, or my character knows the older brother, and you happen to be the kid sister.
You're in the same grade, yeah.
Yeah. So, so maybe it's a case of, because we live next door to one another, in the mornings, we're the ones who are walking to school, and we've got to then sort of escort you along.
Yeah.
Reluctantly, yeah? Okay, I like that. That's cool. Okay, so events, we have to do relationship to NPCs. Now, with this, we should also choose 2 relationships to NPCs. The NPCs that are mentioned in the type descriptions are part of the mystery. So we can basically make these up a little bit. Because we're making our characters that we could slot them into any sort of game. So it could be a case of that your relation, you basically you have a relationship with one of the teachers. So it gives you an example here. It talks about another kid, Bjorn, told me that his friend Peter works in the dream shop, is about to do something bad. Okay, that's a bit full on there. Let's have a look at what the bookworm one is. What's this one? Mona, the school librarian, was my friend until she disappeared. I'm sure that the school janitor knows more than he's saying. But these are relevant to an adventure that's later on in the core book. So, who do we know we need to have a relationship with? We can potentially just make this up. So, maybe... because these are people that we might, these are adults that we might meet during the course of adventure. So maybe it is...
A librarian?
Well, so it would make sense that somebody in the library is somebody that knows my character. I was also thinking, what about the person, I'm going to try and translate this now, the person who owns the convenience store, who you go to get the sweets before you go to school. So I'm going to sort of say this is the news agents that I would go to go and get my magazine, my comic book or whatever. And they obviously see me once a week, ask how I'm doing type thing. So it's because it's part of the community, isn't it? So maybe librarian, and maybe it's the news agents of a local down at the bottom of the street. What about for you then? Who are you going to? Because I mean, you could. It could be anybody for you, couldn't it? Mine are a little bit more themed around my archetype, but for you, anybody.
Because chances for me, I'm just wandering the streets randomly till the street lights come on. Oh man, I don't know. Huh. What season are we in?
Doesn't matter. We can adapt it to whatever. I mean, it's that particular campaign started in spring, so.
But for like spring and summer, it could be like.
Well, here we go. How about it being in the middle of summer, because we're in the summer holidays before we go back for me to be my final year at school. So we're in June, July time.
Well, then, absolutely the ice cream truck man.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
Because I would be running after that truck screaming, "Give me ice cream!
Ice cream! The ice cream man's coming!"
Because, like, I can see my character being the one that, like, even if they don't have the change to get ice cream, they still run over and just, like, blabber at them and just talk to them. And, like, you just kind of, like, I'm the kid that I'll just chatter, and you just kind of push me off to the side and ignore me type of thing.
Yes, love it. Okay, so you got the ice cream seller. Who else? And while you're thinking about that, good evening, Baron. Thank you for joining us. We are creating our characters for Tales from the Loop. We are we're having fun. We've got Oh, go on.
I think I've got to say that it's got to be like some other neighbor in the on the street that is older.
Yes.
And because you have all the kids are out playing, and you always had some adult, whether it was related to the children or not, but some adult was always outside making sure everything was good. And then it was like shift, so you had somebody there.
Yes. So maybe along the street there's an elderly couple who live there.
Yeah.
And maybe your parents sometimes, can ask Mrs. Jenkins to just look after you for a couple of hours while she just pops to the shops. So maybe she's like a grandmotherly type of person. I don't know.
What are we gonna name her?
Yeah, you need
We're
a
gonna name her
name.
Mrs. Radcliffe.
Okay. All right. You always need a name. I went for Mr. Burrows and Miss Burns.
Ooh.
I was on the bees for my names.
I've noticed that your librarian is the Miss as well. I was gonna say, I was like, is Miss Burns the librarian?
Any similarity to people I've known in my past life is purely coincidental. Okay. So what else? What else have we got? So we need an anchor. All kids have an anchor, a person that they can go to for support, comfort, and care. It can be a friend, a parent, a teacher, or a neighbor, but it cannot be another kid.
I put mine as my grandma, but now I'm thinking maybe I should change it to Miss Radcliffe.
Well, it could well be, couldn't it? So again, examples, anchor. It did say, yeah, grandmother, another kid's mom and dad, or the neighbour. And for the bookworm, it's your own mom and dad, it's a teacher, it's a local author. Oh, wow, okay. Who would the bookworm confide in? I think it would be a teacher. I think a teacher would be a good place, considering that you're spending most of your time in school at that age, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And certainly it's near the end of that school life. And again, we've already said that this particular character is at the top of that year of kids. So it could be like maybe the I don't know, the deputy headmaster or the deputy head of year figure. Let's do that maybe. But yes, definitely a teacher I think is probably the better option for me. There you go. I've upgraded to the D's now. All right. So. What do we need to do? We need to give our kid a name. Let's just make sure we've gone through, just to double check. So we chose our type. We had our age. We distributed points equal to our age for the attributes. We determined our look. We distributed points into our skills. We picked an iconic item. We picked a problem. We picked a drive. We picked a pride. We defined our relationship to other kids and to NPCs. We selected an anchor. So we're really right at the end here. We need to name our kid and then write a short description and then choose a favorite song.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah, now you're in trouble. Quick, you need to find a listing of what was the top best-selling songs during the 1980s. I'm actually not quite sure. Let's let me just, because they do have a great list in here for songs as TV shows. No, I might have passed it. Music videos. Oh, what have we got? So, Safety Dance by Men Without Hats. Burning Down the House by The Talking Heads. Thriller by Michael Jackson. Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler. I'm going to go with Take On Me by Aha, just because I like that song. I'm not quite sure.
Not me saying, here's Don't worry about it.
Okay, so we need to have a name. Have you worked out a name for your character?
Her name is Margaret.
Margaret. Does she have a last name?
Ryan.
Margaret Ryan. Okay. Does she go under the name Maggie?
No.
No, she's definitely a Margaret, is she?
Margaret, yep.
Is she 10 and 1/4?
10 and 1/8. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yes. Oh gosh, so what am I gonna do? I'm going to be called James Owens. Let's go with that. And have you decided upon a description?
Oh, yeah. She's a little redhead. She's scrawny. Her hair is always braided, but at the same time, it's always just like messy. Like you can see the braids kind of pulling out. Her clothes are always just a little bit too big for her. She's got missing front tooth.
You've been working all of this out as we've been doing this live stream, and not like before.
Yeah, no, this was literally I've done this while we were talking. I went through. I was like, okay, name, yep, anchor, yep. Just went in order.
Fantastic. Okay, I will write mine in later, but I'm thinking sandy blonde hair. I mean, you know, it's a bit cliched to say glasses, isn't it? Because they're a bookworm. So I'm not going to go with the glasses. I'm going to go with.
Disappointed.
No, I don't want to do that. I think I'm going to say that they tend to wear shirts, not t-shirts. And possibly so the 80s. Would they have jeans? I think you could have jeans, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we go jeans, shirt and jeans type thing. Maybe the parents just, you know, and maybe they themselves just like to dress up a little bit. It's not just typical rough and tumble, you know. They always seem to have a shirt on. But they're not really playing out, are they? They're typically going to the libraries. So yeah, I think something.
Yeah.
Go on.
Margaret was Maggie until she turned 10, because then she's a big kid now.
Yes. Yes, exactly like
Margaret.
it. Martin's saying the A-Team theme and the name Tucker Jenkins. Oh gosh. Oh. Tucker Jenkins is from Grange Hill. I'm sure it is. Again, this is British. Kids TV program about the school, so you're not going to get that one, Mystical, but
Nope.
no, definitely not for you. But any Brits of the 80s will know who Tucker Jenkins is, if I've got it right. So the final bit, and this is an interesting thing here, is our hideout. We've got to decide. So there is a fact of that these kids, in whatever adventure we're going to do come together, and we have a hideout where we meet up. Now, because we don't know what game we're going to play in, whether that be we're either going to be playing in the UK in the Norfolk Broads, or we potentially could be in Sweden, or we could be in the US. So we kind of want to keep our hideout generic-ish that would fit into any of those sort of locations. but it's something for us to decide upon. Baron is saying a forest den. So there you go. Forest den would work for anything. What do you think?
See, and I
Mystical?
was thinking like an abandoned shed in a forest type of thing. Yeah.
A shed in a forest. Yeah, I think I'm cool with that. What else have we done? How have we modernized our forest den? Do we have we found an old couch? Maybe somebody's thrown a couch away, done some fly tipping, and we've managed to scurry it into our den and built it, a den around it.
What if there's like an abandoned house nearby, and that's why there's a shed there, and so we just kind of scavenged things. So yeah, we pulled a couch or chair or something.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. All right. Let's do that then. Full solar electricity. I like it, Baron. It might be a little bit, but oh, we see actually, Baron, you've got a good thing here, because of course this is Tales from the Loop. So we could have some solar powered lamps that we've managed to get hold of. So we can do that. Yeah, you see, that's actually not far off. Because, of course, my kid wants to be able to read when they're there. And, of course, if there's no natural light, we need to generate it. So, yeah, I like that. Solar lamps, let's have some of those.
Well, and those aren't too far off because you have those for camping, too.
Yeah.
There's got to be like coffee cans filled with things, though.
Like what?
I don't know, like maybe, especially because if I'm there, it's got to be just like random trinkets, like it's a stone, a feather, just stuff I found interesting.
Well, maybe. Yes, because I suppose in our little hideaway, we'll have areas that are kind of our area, as much as it's all communal. Yeah. So yes, you can have your little bit, your stash of things.
Look at this rock I
found. What about some sort of decorations, things like that? I'm thinking that maybe there's lots of brightly coloured papers in your area, maybe, and maybe glitter and paints and things like that.
What? No, she's more like tomboy than.
Oh, is she?
Like,
okay.
Yeah. Well, because remember, she's got an older brother.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
So, like, the clothes. The reason the clothes are baggy is because she's got hand-me-down clothes from her brother, so it's more boyish look to her than anything.
I see. Okay, I see.
But maybe there's like posters on the walls of authors or people you admire.
Well, here we go. So if this was in the UK, then maybe there's posters out of the Lookin' magazine that they've been put up. And it is pictures of, wow, let's pull out some real cliches. We got David Hasselhoff as in Knight Rider. So we can have that as a poster. And the A-Team, yes, as somebody mentioned in the chat. Those would be appropriate TV shows, I guess. All right, so I think that's it. So ultimately what would happen is before we actually started a game, the GM asks some questions. And these are questions to the kids. So I'm going to play as the GM here and ask you some questions so that you try to help formulate the kid in your mind here. Okay, so what do your parents do for work?
They're dead.
Okay.
I live with my grandmother.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. What is your favorite food?
Pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Okay. What makes you angry?
When my brother doesn't include me in things and goes off and tells me I'm too little, because I'm a big girl now. I was little when I was 9, but I am 10 and 1/8. I am a big girl now.
Okay. What is your experience with robots?
What are robots?
Nah. You see, you would know that. Remember, this is the world of Tales from the Loop, so robots are commonplace. So I think you probably should know a little bit about robots. I think that it's near enough. Probably, if you were to ask I suppose a 10-year-old now, what is the internet? It's probably on the same level as that. Because I don't think you because of the where we're
Give me
situated.
information about the robots then.
No, because robots. Remember, robots are they may be working in the fields, or they are doing sort of menial tasks and things like that. So they are dotted around. They are reasonable commonplace. I don't think we got to a stage.
That's why I was like, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think that this game's at a stage where, you know, it was like massively futuristic games where they're everywhere and like they're driving taxi cabs and serving food or anything like that. It's only unique to the areas because of what the loop has brought to this location. But robots and robotics are certainly more commonplace than how we sort of certainly, you know, what we have here in our time now. All right, well, let's do another one then. Here we go. Let's because that was a bit of a curveball for you, but let's go. What do you think about sports? There you go.
I like sports. I get to kick the ball.
Okay.
I get to kick it at people. I mean at the goal. Never at people, just at the goal. Grandma told us we're not allowed to kick it at people. I still do it.
So, and then finally, we get some questions for the group. So, it says here, what makes the group laugh? So what makes you laugh? What makes my character laugh?
When people get hit with when someone tells a joke.
When someone tells a joke. I think my character laughs because of things that he sees on TV. I think some of the TV shows, afternoon TV shows after school, make him laugh. Let's go with that. Who is the leader?
When Nana picks up her slipper and goes to hit Teddy, that's when I laugh.
Yeah. Baron saying, watching Tiswas. Yes, when somebody gets gunked. There we go. That'll be cool.
What?
We can have silly humour. There used to be a show where you would have people sat on a chair, and if they got questions wrong or whatever, then they had a bucket of slime above their head. And of course, some kid could pull the rope, and it would go like it might go over their teacher or something like that. So it's all harmless fun, but of course, you know, kids getting revenge on adults. Yeah, so that's good fun. So who is the leader? Who's the leader of the gang? I mean, we've only got essentially 2 members at the moment. We probably would have a few more.
Well, Margaret definitely struts around like she might possibly be the leader, but it's absolutely not, because if you ask her any questions and she gets flustered, she goes, ask him. He's older. He knows more.
Okay, but she thinks that she's the leader. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
She
I
delegates.
like it. Yes. Okay, and then as a group, what do we like to do?
I like like to collect things, and you probably like to read, so sit in our clubhouse in silence.
Yeah, but the thing is that we're actually getting out. So I think this is a bit of the difference, isn't it? Is that we come together in our clubhouse out in the forest, and pretty much we spend most of the day there. I wonder if maybe our parents or our guardians give us some sandwiches and a flask of juice,
definitely.
so we can spend our time out again. I see this as a modern-ish version of those Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn type of tales, where we are out and about, we're enjoying the world around us, where we're all quite innocent to it, but there's rolling fields, there's not massive amounts of housing developments, we can go and explore. Even though maybe all of our mysteries start with us all just sat in the clubhouse reading and playing, and then things go from there, don't they?
Maybe you like to draw maps of the areas and stuff, and that would definitely, because you're curious about stuff, right? So, and I like anything that's strange and different. So having these maps is here, go see if you can find something in this area. I'm like, okay.
And again,
that's how you get the chatterbox out.
Yeah, depending on the location. I mean, again, going back to the UK Norfolk Broads, you'd have loads of farmers' fields and little forests and copse to go and explore. So you could quite happily walk down little country lanes, and if you had bikes, then of course you'd ride down them. You'd have no problem with traffic because there wouldn't be a huge amount there. And wow, depending, we could have even little paddle boats. Maybe we end up paddling, rowing down these little rivers and canals and explore that way. So yeah, actually, drawing maps out would be a lot of fun. That you could, think how much you could explore and map out over a summertime. Maybe this is something that the kids have done the year previous, and
that's what's on our walls.
Yeah, it's 5 weeks worth of, hey, we can go and map out another area, because we've been working our way around where our houses are in this little sort of village area. That could be quite cool. So we automatically have a little bit of a backstory, don't we? That this is maybe the second or third summer that we've all done this together. I like that idea. I think that's quite cool. Yeah. That is it. That pretty much brings us to the end of creating a character. We've got our hideout. So we are all set and ready to play. I enjoyed that. That was good fun.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I love coming up with characters.
Okay, awesome. Well, what we're going to do is we'll do something like this again in a couple of weeks, and what we'll do is we will do another Free League game. We will do Vaesen. So a lot of the things that we have done tonight we'll be doing again, but in a different setting. So again, guys in the chat, if you wanted to join on in with that, then keep an eye open on the Discord. I will put a link in so that you can download a character sheet, print it out, and then you can join us creating a character, because where we have a link of multiple characters, we can include your characters into our character sheets and vice versa. So that's something that we will do, and because of the nature of Vaesen, that Nordic horror role-playing game, I think that we might have to do it around Halloween. I think that would be appropriate, wouldn't it?
Oh yes, it's so much fun, guys. Vaesen is so much fun.
All right, so that's going to be the plan in, I guess, 2 weeks' time. Keep an eye open, obviously, on socials, and I will let you know. Keep an eye on the Discord. There will be details there. Let's see if we can get quite a few of us involved in this, and we can guide you through the process, because I think you'll enjoy it. But hopefully tonight's been a little bit of a teaser, and we'll continue with these creation streams, making different characters from different role-playing worlds. I enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun.
It was it was so much fun. Oh, I love it.
We just need to sort out the tech a little bit, but I think we're there.
Monkey, we had something planned for the 31st.
Did we?
We did. I'll ping
right.
you in the Discord.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, yes. No, the 31st is a Tuesday, and so what we have planned for that will still be the case. So what I'm thinking, therefore, then is we will do the character creation on the Wednesday, so on the 1st of November.
Perfect.
So it's just one day off, but hey, it's close enough. It's a spooky week anyway, isn't it? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So yes, we will have some other suitable horror-like treats for Halloween.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Yes.
It's gonna be so much fun, guys. Can you tell I'm excited?
Oh, yes. And you wouldn't believe, I'll tell you this now, the game that we're going to look at, it actually has a call out to tell you how to pronounce the name of the game.
I know.
Right? Oh, you've seen it. Of course, you've seen it, haven't you? And so I've practiced. I can say it perfectly. And so what I'll be able to do is tell you what I have been calling it prior to that call out.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, you can imagine where it's gone.
Oh no.
Oh, Baron, just before we sign off, Baron's asking, what's the name of our clubhouse?
Oh gosh.
And actually, do we have a name for the gang? Oh, see, that's something.
I feel like if there's maps already up and stuff like that, you guys have done it. Like, I'm the newest person there. So I'll leave that up to you.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I mean, I think if the bookworm had anything to do, it'd be something about cartography, wouldn't it? The cartography club, or it's something. It's a bit stuffy, but we need to have a cooler name.
Maybe it's like an Oh my gosh, what is that? What is the word for it? Maybe it's something that stands for something else.
Well, this is well, there we go. This is something for us to think about. So put suggestions in the comments. What should be the name of the club, given everything that you've learned about our characters and about where we are and what we're doing and what our plans are for the summer? What would the name of our club be? Leave a comment on the video. Let's see what you guys come up with. Right, there you go. Let's call it a night there. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed. We, of course, will be back on Thursday. We are going to be playing a soon-to-be-released tabletop game. It's coming out in a couple of weeks' time. We do have an advanced copy of it. So very much looking forward to playing and sharing this with you all. So that's Thursday night from 7 o'clock. All right, Mystical, I will see you then.
See you then.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye now. So there we go, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Do keep an eye on those socials for our upcoming Vassen character creation stream. Hopefully you guys can will get involved, and let's see what characters you create along with us. But until Thursday night, bye for now.